안 받을 거야. 내가 삭제를 안 받을 거야. 삭제하면은 자동으로 하고 있어. 그러니까 3일 지나면 알아서 자동으로 하고.
누가 한 번도 못 잡았어.
그래도 안 받을 거야. 삭제 안 받을 거야. 안 받을 거야. 이게 삭제했어. 뭘 그거 가지고 그러는 거야.
그래.
이거는 부담 안 가는 게. 나도 어차피 내일 탑을 집 가면은 후공에서 집갈 때 빡센데. 저번에 나 그때 막 열차 그랬었잖아. 집 가는 거 열차 멈추고
아. 맞아.
이제 뭘 하든 저는
대체. 책.
비행기 타는
그럼 토요일 거 어때?
The safety valve in handling complaint.
지금 머리를 듣고 있어요.
Safety valve in handling complaint. Most people
욕기 닦는 곳이어가지고 이렇게 일어나는구나.
아니 내가
Wow. Okay, second part of reading started. Oh, first part of reading suddenly started because of unexpected kind of things happening. Safety value and handling complaint. Most people when trying to win others to their ways of thinking, the too much talk. Most people when trying to win others to their way of thinking, do too much talking themselves. Judgment, especially are guilty of discourse to error. Let the other man talk himself out. He knows more about his business and his problems than you do. So ask him questions, let him tell you a few things.
밥전자세.
Let the other man talk himself out. He knows more about his business and his problems than you do. So ask him questions. Let him tell you a few things. If you disagree with him, you may be tempted to interrupt. But don't. It's dangerous. He won't pay attention to you.
형아랑 저녁밥 끊지 먹고 이것도 내려갔다. 또너 내려가면 분명히 아실 텐데.
He won't pay attention to you while he still has a lot of ideas of his own crying for expression. So listen patiently and with an open mind. Be sincere about it. Encourage him to express his idea fully. Does this cause pay in business? Let's see. This was very busy. Let's see. Here is the story of a man who was forced to strike. A few years ago, one of the largest automobile manufacturers in the United States was negotiating for years of requirements of upholstery fabrics. The automobile manufacturers in the United States. Three important manufacturers had worked out fabrics in same goodies, bodies. These had all been inspected by the executives of the motor company, and notice had been sent to each manufacturer, saying that on certain days the representative would be given an opportunity of making final plea for the company. You are the representative of one manufacturer arriving in time at a severe takeover. When it came my turn to meet an executive in conference, Mr. R said that he related the story before one of my classes. I had lost my voice. I could hardly respond. I was ushered into the room and found myself face to face with the textile engineer and purchasing agent, the director of sales, and the president of the company. I stood up and made a valiant effort to speak, but I couldn't do anything more than speak. They were all seated around the table, so I wrote on a pen of paper, "Gentlemen, I've lost my voice. I'm speechless." While talking for you, the president said, he did. He exhibited my samples and praised their good points. A lively discussion arose about the merit of my good. And the president, since he was talking for me, took my side. During the discussion, my sole participation consists of smiles, nods, and few gestures. As a result of this unique conference, I was awarded a contract which called for over 500,000 yards of unholstered fabrics at an aggregate value of $1,600,000, the biggest order I ever received. I know I should have lost the contract if I hadn't lost my voice, because I had the wrong idea about the whole proposition. I discovered quite by accident how richly it sometimes pays to let the other fellow do the talking.
와, 나 이거 잘못 예약했다. 김포에서 방송됐다. 취소해줘.
진짜 뭐지?
Company made the same discovery. Mr. Webb was making a rural inspection trip through a district of Prospect, Pennsylvania, Dutch farmers. Why aren't those people using electricity? He asked the district representative as they passed the red cap farmhouse. They are Taiwan. You can't sell them anything. The dishman answered in disgust. And besides, they're sold at the company. I've tried, it's hopeless. Maybe it was, but Webb decided to try anyway. So he knocked at the farmer's door. The door opened by a narrow crack. And all the Mrs. Drunken Broad peered out. As soon as she saw the company representative, said Mr. Webb, as he related the story, she slammed the door in our face. I knocked again and again. She opened the door, and this time she began to tell us what she thought of us and our company. Mrs. Drunken Broad, I said, I'm sorry it would trouble you. And I didn't come here to sell you electricity. I merely wanted to buy some eggs. She opened the door wider and peered out at us suspiciously. I noticed your fine flock of Dominic, I said.
진짜로?
And I should like to buy a dozen fresh eggs. The door opened a little wider. How do you know my hands were Dominic's? She inquired. Her curiosity piqued. I was checking myself, I replied. And I must say, I've never seen a finer flock of Dominic's. Why don't you use your own eggs then? She demanded, still somewhat suspicious. Because my little leghorns lay white eggs. And naturally, being a cook yourself, you know white eggs can compare to brown eggs when it comes to making cake. And my wife prides herself on her cake.
근데 저 아까 그
By this time,
8만 주고 되죠?
소강주.
아, 그런데
Mrs. Drunkenbrod ventured out onto the porch in a much more amiable frame of mind. Meantime, my eyes had been wandering around, and I had discovered that the farm was equipped with a fine-looking dairy. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Drunkenbrod, I continued, I'll bet you make more money from your hands than your husband makes with his dairy. Then she was off. Sure she did, and she loved to tell me about it. But alas, she could make her husband the blockhead admit it. She invited us down to see her poultry house.
6시 반 하고
And on our tour of inspection, I noticed that there is a little contraptions that she had built, and I was hearty in my approbation and lavish in my praise. I recommended certain feed and certain temperatures, and asked her advice on several points. And soon we were having a good time, shopping experience. Presently, she remarked that some of our neighbors had put electric light in their hen house, and they claimed they had got excellent results. She wanted my honest opinion as to whether or not it would pay her to do the same thing. 2 weeks later, Mrs. Youngspro's Dominic hands were plump and scratching contentedly in the encouraging glow of electric light. I had my order. She was getting more eggs. Everyone was satisfied. Everyone had gained. But, and this is the point of the story, I should never have sold electricity to this Pennsylvania Dutch farmer wife if I had not first let her talk herself into it. Such people can't be sold. You have to let them buy. A large advertisement appeared recently on the financial page of the New York Herald Tribune, calling for men with unusual bulletin experience. Charles T. Ferguson answered the advertisement, sending his reply to box number. A few days later, he was invited by letter to call for an interview. Before he called, he spent hours in Wall Street finding out everything possible about the man who had found the business. During the interview, he remarked, I should be mighty proud to be associated with an organization with a record like yours. I understand you started 28 years ago with nothing but desk room and one stenographer. Is that true? Almost every successful man likes to reminisce about his early struggles. This man was no exception. He asked, He talked for a long time about how he had started with $450 in cash and original day idea. He told how he had fought against discouragement and battled against ridicule, working Sundays and holidays, 12 to 16 hours a day, how he had finally won against all odds. Until now, the biggest men in Wall Street were coming to him for information and guidance. He was proud of such a record. He had a right to, and he had a splendid time telling about it. Finally, he questioned Mr. Chevalier's brief about his experience and called in one of his bystanders and said, I think this is the man we are looking for. Mr. Chevalier had taken the trouble to find out about the accomplishments of his prospective employer. He showed interest in the other man and his problems. He encouraged the other man to do most of the talking and made a favorable impression.
말 관련해서.
Truth is that even our friends would far rather talk to us about their achievement
이제 그래도 될 것 같아.
than listen to
딱 말해.
us boast about ours. French philosopher said, if you want enemy, excel your friend.
자기 그런 거
But if you want friend, if you want enemy, excel your friend. But if you want friend, let your friend excel you.
가만 있어. 가만 있어.
Good sentence. Why is that true? Because when our friends excel us, that gives them a feeling of importance. But when we excel them, that gives them a feeling of inferiority and arouses envy and jealousy. The Germans have a problem, which being interpreted goes something like this. The purest joy is the malicious joy we take in the misfortune of those we have envied. Or to put it another way, the purest joy is the joy we take in other people's trouble. Yeah. Some of your friends probably get more satisfaction out of your troubles than out of your triumphs. So let's minimize our achievement. Let's be honest. Let's be modest. That always makes a hit. And then right technique. A lawyer once said to Cobb on the witness stand, I understand, Mr. Cobb, that you are one of the most famous writers in America. Is that correct? I've probably been more fortunate than I deserve, Cobb replied. You ought to be modest, for neither you nor I amount to much. Both of us will pass on and be completely forgotten a century from now. Life is too short to bore other people with the talk of our petty accomplishment. Let's encourage them to talk instead. Come to think about it, and you haven't much to brag about anywhere. Do you know what keeps you from becoming an idiot? Not much. Only a knicker's worth of iodine in your thyroid gland. If a physician were to open thyroid gland in your neck and take out a little, would become an idiot. Or little, you don't. Iodine that can be bought at the corner drugstore for 5 cents is all that stands between you and institution for the mentally ill and irreversible. That's not much. That isn't much to be boasting about in it. So if we want to win people to our way of thinking of sex, that the other men do a great deal of the talking. How to get a cooperation? Don't you have much more faith in idea that you discover for yourself than ideas that are handed to you on a silver platter? If so, is it bad judgment to try to ram your opinion down the throat of other people? Would it be wiser to make suggestions and let other man thinking out the conclusion for himself? To illustrate, Mr. Dawson of Philadelphia, a student of one of my courses, suddenly found himself confronted with the necessity of injecting enthusiasm into discouraged and disorganized group of automobile salesmen. Calling a sales meeting, he urged his men to tell him exactly what they expect from him. As they talked, he wrote their ideas on the blackboard. He then said, I give you all these qualities you expect from me. Now I want you to tell me what I have a right to expect from you. The reply came quick and fast. Loyalty, honesty, initiative, optimism, teamwork. 8 hours of a day of enthusiastic work. One man volunteered to work 14 hours a day. The meeting ended with new courage and new inspiration, and Mr. Shaw reported to me that the increase of sales had been phenomenal. The man had made a sort of moral bargain with me, they said, and as long as I live up to my part in it, they were determined to live up to theirs. Consulting them about their wishes and desires was just a shot in the arm they needed. No man likes to feel that he is being sold something or told to do a thing. We much prefer to feel that we are buying of our own accord or acting on our own idea. We like to be concerned about our wishes, our want, and our thought. For example, take the case of Eugene Mason. He lost countless thousands of dollars in commissions before he learned this truth. Mr. Mason sells sketches for studios that create design for stylists and textile manufacturers. Mr. Weston had called once a week, every week, for 3 hours, and won over the leading stylist in New York. He never refused to see me, said Mr. Weston, but he never bought. He always looked over my sketches very carefully and then said, no, Weston, I guess we don't get together today after 150 failures. Weston realized he must be in a mental rut, so he resolved to devote one evening a week to the study of influencing human behavior and to develop new ideas and generate new enthusiasms. Presently, he was stimulated to try a new approach, picking up half a dozen unfinished sketches the artists were working on. He rushed over to his buyer's office. I want you to do me a little favor, if you will, he said. Here are some incomplete sketches. Won't you please tell me how we could finish them up in such a way that they would be of service to you? The buyer looked at the sketches for a while without uttering a word and then said, "Leave this with me for a few days, my son, and then come back and see me." My son returned 3 days later, get his suggestions, took the sketches back to the studio and had them finished according to the buyer's idea. The result, all accepted. That was 9 months ago. Since that time, this buyer has ordered scores of other sketches, all drawn according to his idea. And the net result has been more than $1,600 in commission for Wesson. I now realize why I failed for years to sell this buyer, said Mr. Wesson. I had urged him to buy what I thought he ought to have. I do the very opposite now. I urge him to give me his idea. He feels now that he is creating the designs, and he is. I don't have to sell him now. He buys. When Theodore Roosevelt was governor of New York, he accomplished an extraordinary feat. He kept on good terms with political bosses, and yet he pushed through reforms which they bitterly describe. And here's how he did it. When an important office was to be filled, he invited the political bosses to make recommendations. At first, said Robert, they might propose a broken down party. There. The sort of man who has to be taken care of. How to tell them that to appoint such a man would not be good politics, as the public would not approve it. Then they would bring me the name of another party head, a persistent office holder, who, if he had nothing against him, had little in his favor. I would tell them that this man would not measure up to the expectations of the public, and I would ask them to see if they could not find someone more obviously fitted for the post. Their third suggestion would be a man who was almost good enough but not quite. Then I would thank them, asking them to try once more, and their fourth suggestion would be acceptable. They would then name just the sort of man I should have picked out myself. Expressing my gratitude for their assistance, I would appoint this man, and I would let them take the credit for the appointment. I would tell them that I had done these things to please them, and now it was their turn to please me. And they did. They did it by supporting such sweeping sweeping reforms at the civil service bill and the franchise tax bill. Remember, Roosevelt went to great lengths to consult the other men and show respect for his advice. When Roosevelt made an important appointment, he let the bosses really feel that they had selected the candidate, that the idea was theirs. And automobile dealers on Long Island used the same technique to sell a used car to a Scott man and his wife. The dealer had shown the Scott man car after car, but there was always something wrong. This didn't suit. That was out of the price was too high. Always the price was too high. At this juncture, the dealer, a member of one of my courses, appealed to Clay for help. He advised him to keep trying to sell Sandy and let Sandy buy, he said. Instead of telling Sandy what to do, why not let him tell you what to do? Let him feel that the idea is his. That sounds good. So the dealer tried it. A few days later, and a customer wanted to trade an old car in a new one. The dealer knew this used car might appeal to Sandy, so he picked up the phone and asked Sandy if he wouldn't, as a special favor, come over and give him a bit of advice. When Sandy arrived, the dealer said, "You are sure a buyer. You know car better. Won't you please look over this car and try it out and tell me how much I ought or love for it in a trade?" Sandy was one very substantial smile. As you see, okay, Hongdae Busking John is under renovation. As you see, renovation is almost finished. I think in the near future, just okay looking at the situation over here, in the near future they will, I think, reopen the Busking, I think. But whether reopen, when reopen, reopening Busking John is up to, local civil servants' decision. Let's wait and see what's going on. Yeah, as you see, Busking John is renovation almost finished. See? Stage is bigger than before. As you see, two stages, only two stages, but bigger than old one. As you see, yeah. Okay, let's keep on reading. The same psychology was used by an X-ray manufacturer to sell his equipment to one of the largest hospitals in Brooklyn. This hospital was building an addition and preparing to equip it with the finest X-ray department in America. Oh, by the way, after finish reading, I'm gonna start looking around where to, okay, this live, okay, streaming. The same psychology was asked by an X-ray manufacturer to sell his equipment to one of the large hospitals in Brooklyn. This hospital was building an addition and preparing to equip it with the finest X-ray department in America. Was in charge of X-ray department was overwhelmed with salesmen, each carrying the praise of its own equipment. One manufacturer, however, was more skillful. He knew far more about handling human nature than the others did. He wrote a letter, something like this: "Our factory has recently completed a new line of X-ray equipment. The first shipment of these machines has just arrived at our office. They are not perfect. We know that, and we want to improve them. So we should be deeply obligated to you if you could find time to look them over and give us your ideas about how they can be made more serviceable to your profession. Knowing how occupied you are, I shall be glad to send my car for you at any hour you specify." I was surprised to get the letter, said, as he related the instant before the class. I was both surprised and complimented. I had never had an X-ray manufacturer seeking my advice before. It made me feel important. I was busy every night that week, but I canceled the dinner appointment in order to look over that equipment. The more I studied it, the more I discovered for myself how much I like it. Nobody had tried to sell it to me. I felt the idea of buying the equipment for the hospital was my own. I sold myself on its superior qualities and ordered it installed. Corner Edward House wielded an enormous influence in national and international affairs while Woodrow Wilson occupied the White House. Mr. Ling, upon Corner House for Secret Council and advised more than he did upon every member of his own cabinet. One method did use in influencing the president. Fortunately, we know for House himself revealed it to the Secretary House in an article. After I got to know the Roosevelt himself, said, I learned the best way to convert him to an idea was to plant it in his mind casually, but so as to interest him in it, so as to get him thinking about it on his own account. The first time this worked, it was an accident. I had been visiting him at the White House and urged the polish on him, which he appeared to disapprove. But several days later, at the dinner table, I was amazed to hear him turn out my suggestion as his own. Did the House interrupt him and say, that's not your idea, that's mine? Oh no. He was too adroit for that. He didn't care about credit. He watched it He wanted a result. Gerald Wilson continued to feel that the idea was his. House did even more than that. He gave Wilson public credit for these ideas. Let's remember that the people with whom we come in contact tomorrow will be just as human as with Wilson. So let's use the technique of Conhouse. A man of Indonesia used this technique only a few years ago, and it got my patronage. I was planning at the time to do some fishing and canoeing in Europe. So I wrote a tourist manual for information. My name and address were identified published, for I was immediately overwhelmed with scores of letters and booklets and printed testimonials from camps and guides. I was bewildered. I didn't know which to choose. Then one camp owner did a very clever thing. He signed his names and telephone numbers of several New York people he had served, and invited me to telephone them and discover for myself what he had to offer. I found to my surprise that I knew one of the men on his streets. I telephoned him, found out what his experience had been, and then why they came the date of my arrival. The others had been trying to sign me on their service, but one chap, let me sell myself if you want. So if you want to influence people to your way of thinking about service, let the other fellow feel that the idea is his. 25 centuries ago, Charles said some things that readers of this book might use today. The reason why rivers and seas receive the homage of 100 mountain states is that they keep below them. Then they are able to reign over all the mountain streams. Yeah, as you see, Hongdae busking zone renovation is almost over, almost finished. So I hope in the near future they reopen Hongdae busking. Okay, keep on reading. The reason why rivers and seas receive the homage of hundreds of mountain streams is that they keep below them. Thus, they are able to reign over all the mountain streams. So the sage, wishing to be above men, putting himself below them, wishing to be before them, he put himself behind them. Thus, though his place be above men, they do not feel his way. Though his place be before them, they do not count it an injury. A formula that will work wonders for you. A formula that will work wonders for you. Remember that the other man may be totally wrong, but he doesn't think so. Don't condemn him. Any fool can do that. Try to understand him. Only wise, tolerant, exceptional men even try to do that. There's a reason why the other man thinks and acts as he does. Figure out that hidden reason, and you have the key to his actions, perhaps to his personality. Try honestly to put yourself in his place. If you say to yourself, how would I feel? How would I react if I were in issues. You will save a lot of time and irritation. For by becoming interested in the cause, we are less likely to dislike the effect. And in addition, you will sharply increase your skill in human relationships. Stop a minute, said Gold in his book, How to Turn People into Gold. Stop a minute to contrast your keen interest in your own affair with your mild concern about anything else. Realize then that everybody else in the world feels exactly the same way. Then, along with Colonel Roosevelt, you will have grasped the only solid foundation for any job other than the success in dealing with people depending on a sympathetic grasp of the other man's viewpoint. For years, I have taken a great deal of my recreation by walking and riding in a park near my house. Like I all but all sit on Oak Creek, so I was distressed season after season to see the young trees of the killed of by needless fires. These fires weren't caused by careless smokers. They were almost all caused by boys who went out to the park to go native and cook Frankfurter egg under the tree. Sometimes these fires raged so fiercely that the fire department had to be called out to fight conflagration. There was a sign on the edge of the park saying that anyone who started a fire was liable to fine and imprisonment. But the sign stood in an unfrequented part of the park, and few boys ever saw it. A mounted policeman was supposed to look after the park, but he didn't take his duties too seriously. So the fires continued to spread season after season. On one occasion, I rushed up to a policeman and told him about a fire spreading rapidly through the park and wanted him to notify the fire department. And he nonchalantly replied that it was none of his business because it wasn't in his precinct. I was desperate. So after that, when I went riding, I acted as a self-appointed committee of one to protect the public domain. In the beginning, I'm afraid I didn't even attempt to see Boy's point of view. When I saw fire blazing on the street, I was so unhappy about it, so eager to do the right thing that I did the wrong thing. I would ride up to the boys, warn them that they could be jailed for starting a fire, or they put it out with a tone of authority. And if they refused, I would threaten to have them arrested. I was merely unloading my feelings without thinking of their point of view. The result, the boys obeyed silently with resentment. As I rode on over the hill, they probably rebuilt the fire and longed to burn up the whole park. With the passing of the years, I hope I acquired a triple more knowledge of human relations, a little more tact, a little great tendency to see things from the other person's point of view. Then, instead of giving orders, I would have right up to a blazing fire and begin small, something like this. Having a good time, boys. What are you going to cook for supper? I love to build a fire myself when I was a boy, and I still love to. But, you know, there are very, they are very dangerous here in the park. I know you boys don't mean to do any harm, but other boys aren't so careful. They come along and see that you have built a fire, so they build one and don't put it out when they go home, and it spreads among the dry leaves and kids' trees. We won't have any trees here at all. If we aren't more careful, you could be put in jail for building this fire. We won't have any trees here at all. If we aren't more careful, you could be put in jail for building this fire. But I don't want to be bossy and interfere with your pleasure. I like to see you enjoy yourselves. Well, won't you please make all the leaves away from the fire right now? And we'll be careful to cover it with dirt, a lot of dirt. We probably want you, and the next time you want to have some fun, won't you please build your fire over the hill there in the same pit. You can't do any damage there. Thanks so much, boys. Have a good time. What a difference that kind of talk made. That made the boys want cooperate. No sultriness, no resentment. They hadn't been forced to obey orders. They had saved their faces. They felt better, and I felt better because I had handled the situation with consideration for their point of view. Tomorrow, before asking anyone to put out a fire or buy a can of cleaning fluid and give $50 to the Red Cross, why not pause and close your eye and try to think the whole thing through from other point of view? Ask yourself, why should he want to do it? True, that will take time, but it will make friends and get better results and get them with less friction, and that surely does. Yeah. As you say, okay, the Hongdae Busking Zone renovation is almost over, almost finished. So I hope in the near future they will resume Hongdae Busking. Okay? Yeah. There are two bigger stage than old ones. Finish reading or take a shot looking around, okay, the area. Okay. What a difference that kind of tongue made. They made the boys want to cooperate. Nothing to know the Simon. They had been forced to obey orders. They had saved their face. They felt better and I felt better. Because I had handled the situation with consideration for their point of view. Tomorrow, before asking anyone to put out a fire or buy a can of air cleaning, forward or give $50. Why not pause and close your eyes and try things? All things through the other person's point of view. Ask yourself, why should he want to do it? True, that will take time, but it will make friends and get better results and get them with less friction and less sugar. I should rather walk the sidewalk in front of man's office for 2 hours. Before I interview, say then I will be in school, then step into his office without a perfectly clear either of what I'm going to say and what he, from my knowledge of his interest and motive, is like to answer. That's so important that I'm going to repeat it. I should rather walk the sidewalk in front of man's office for 2 hours before I interview. Step into his office without a perfectly clear idea of what I'm going to say and what he, from my knowledge of his interest and motive, is like to be answered. If as a result of reading this book, you get only one thing, an increased attendance, to think always in terms of other person's point of view and see things from his It may easily prove to be one of the milestones of your career. Therefore, if you want to change people without giving offense or causing resentment, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. What everybody wants. Wouldn't you like to have a magic phrase that would stop an argument? Eliminate ill feeling, create goodwill, making the other man listen attentively. Yes, all right, here it is. Begin by saying, I don't blame you on for feeling as you do. If I were you, I should undoubtedly feel just as you do. An answer like that will soften the most old cause alive. And you can say that and be 100% sincere. Because if you were the other person, of course, you would feel just as he does. Let me illustrate. Take Al Capone, for example. Suppose you had inherited the same body and temperament, mind Al Capone had. Suppose you had his environment and experience. You then be precisely what he is and where he is. For it is those things and only those things that made him what he is. The only reason, for example, that you are not a rattlesnake is that your mother and father weren't rattlesnakes. The only reason you don't kiss cows and consider snakes holy is because you weren't born in a family on the bank of the Brahmaputra. You deserve a very little credit for being what you are. And remember, the man who comes to you irritated, bigoted, and unreasoning deserves very little discredit for being what he is. Feel sorry for the poor devil. Pity him, sympathize with him. Say to yourself what John B. used to say. And he saw a drunken woman staggering down the street. There, but for the grace of God, go on. 3/4 of the people you will meet tomorrow are hungering and thirsting for sympathy. Give it to them, and they will love you. I once gave a broadcast about the order of a little woman. Okay, I'm going to finish your second part of reading. Yeah. I'm going to take a short looking around. Yeah, new renovation. 홍대버스 인전. Okay. 네.
내일 비가? 아니 피자 먹고 근데 거기 피자마자 거기 사과문까지 올려가지고 연장한다고 했잖아. 근데 피자마자 비 오면은 그냥 걔랑 다니지 마. 나 이미 나왔으면은 난 진짜부터 밤에 들어서자마자 수업이랑 앞자리 기억 못하는 자리에 앉아가지고 그냥 쌩하고 다녔어.
Okay, let's see. Can you see? Yeah, busking stage is renovated. Renovated busking stage is bigger than the old one. As you see, is bigger. Yeah. Yeah. This is much bigger than before. This place like this. Yeah. The spectators can sit down here and watching. Yeah. Yeah. Another place here. Much bigger than before, right? As you see, much bigger. I think this stage is better because people here sit down and far distance from here they can still watch here. You see? I like this. Okay. Yeah, so much.
아, 정말 그 영상을
Okay. I showed you a renovated new busking place. Two stage here. I'm going to finish up now Thank you. Thank you for watching. I'll be back again with reading. Happy reading time. Thank you. And tonight I'm going to filming some busking if possible. Oh.